and welcome to Juno. Your rental starts here. All right, so normally, the up front is just pretty much a normal van, pretty easy. You have a Pioneer radio that supports CarPlay, you have a cigarette lighter, 2 USB ports. Welcome, if you'll follow me into the van. First thing we want to show you guys is the lights. There's a button here, there's red light and white light. Pretty easy to use. There's another one over the bed that looks exactly like this. Moving over here, this is where you're going to find all of your electrical power stuff. So there's 3 switches here. Blue means on. These 2 switches power the USB port by the bed as well as the sink pump. So in order to put water into the sink, this needs to be on. This powers the inverter, which allows you to use the AC 120 volt power outlets in the van. Just hold and press, you'll see the red and green, and then when you're on, you'll hear the beep and a flashing green light. That tells you the inverter is on, and that means all your 3-prong outlets in the van are usable. To turn off, just press again, wait 5 seconds, and you'll see the green light stop. Moving over, this tells you what capacity your battery bank is at. We have 300 amp hours of battery. Right now we're at 88%. This does charge while you're driving, and if you sit in the sun, this should normally be close to 100. Nothing in the van uses too much power. Moving over, you look under your seat cushion. Here's where you find all your pots, pans, and stove. Pretty simple to lift up. Same thing with the garbage. Slide this open. This keeps the garbage shut while you're driving. Pull out. You have garbage and recycling. Pull back in. There you go. Now to set up your table, you see this swinging pipe here. Your tabletop sits behind the cushion, and all you do is screw this on. All right, if you follow me back into the van, here you have a pantry. This is your closet. And at the back of the closet, you'll also see one of those 3-prong outlets that I mentioned earlier. Here you'll find all your utensils, plates, bowls, sponge, your fridge, and your freezer. There's also a max air fan, just on and off. What this does is help airflow in the van. If it's hot, you can open a window and this should draw a vacuum in, or if you're cooking, it exhausts air out the fan so you're not breathing any in of those butane fumes. Super easy to use. There's an on off, and then if you want it more open, just hit the plus sign, or if you want it slower, just hit the minus sign, and when you're done, just hit the off and it'll automatically close. I also want to show you guys how to empty the gray water. The gray water tank is under the sink. It's 5 gallons. Around when it's 80% full is when I would advise changing it out, because once it gets over full, it'll start stopping up the sink and cleaning it will become not nearly as fun. It's very simple. Essentially, just take it out. There's this white screw here. Just unscrew the tank. I normally do this so that gravity does its job with any water that's in the hose. Take it out and dispose of it somewhere safe, like a campground disposal. When you're ready to plug it back in, just re-screw it and push it back, and you're done. Moving into the sink, you find a strainer, soap holder, and sink stopper. In order to run the water, that blue switch needs to be on. Now, a little quirk about the sink is that if it's all the way down like this, you won't see the sink run. But if the handle moves up, easy. Moving over just to some more storage, you have another storage bin here under the bed, as well as a way to get up onto the bed. Something interesting about this drawer is that on the side rails, there's 2 little black levers that you need to push down in order to push them back. This drawer has a 150-pound limit, So when you're launching up onto the bed, I wouldn't put your full weight on it and more use it as just a jumping spot. All right, let's go take a look at the garage. We have a shower that you can plug in, and you just put this hose into your water tank and it'll start pumping water. It might not be the warmest shower, but it's good for a quick rinse. Over here, if you find yourself in a place where you need to fill up water, you can attach this to any hose or spigot. And this here is a water filter. Just put this end into your tank and fill up your water. Let's talk about the water tank. It's a 30-gallon freshwater tank. This is the fill inlet. In order to open it, these pliers, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Moving over to what's behind all the wood, these are all your electrical equipment for the bank. You'll find the inverter, your solar arrays, all 3 batteries, and anything else needed to electrically power the van. Now, sometimes the AC outlets, the 3-prong outlets in the van, can get hung up. If you find that happening, all you need to do is come back here, and this red switch acts as a breaker for all AC outlets in the van. If you'll find that any of them aren't working, just come back, depress the red switch. You should hear a click if it's not working, and it'll reset those breakers. For the solar array breaker, it's actually down here, this white breaker, and you can flip that off if you want to turn solar off. Back here is the master switch. Turning this master switch turns everything off in the van. The correct sequence, should you ever need to do this, is to make sure that everything in the van is off, flip the solar breaker off first, then turn your master switch off, wait 30 seconds, and reverse that order. So turn the master switch on, turn the solar breaker on, and then turn everything else on in the van. There should never be a need for you to do that, but it is in the binder should you come across any issue. Everything else in the van, pretty self-explanatory. This pulls out as a kind of table, and it just easily pushes back in. There's a bin back here with rope, a small hatchet, and some other just kind of necessary supplies that we give you guys should you run into any problems. The van does have some unique quirks, and I'm going to go through some of those now. As you see from the outside of the van, Juno used to be a service vehicle, so she's got a lot of small bumps and bruises on her. Another thing is that when you're inside, this lever does not work, so if you're inside the van and you're trying to close this door, just reach out and pull the outside door as well. There's also a small crack running through the bottom of the windshield, but it shouldn't impede any of your driving ability. Alright, thanks for renting Juno. If you have any questions, you can contact us through Outdoorsy. Also, all the information that I just told you should be located in the binder. Thank you.